All right. So for however you got here, if you just clicked it because you knew it was going to be a heated topic, or if you came here from our last video where we talked about different heated topics in today's world, today we're talking about gun control, and it is the Biblical Boys podcast. Let's get into this episode. No matter how you put it, there is controversy on this topic all around. People that think guns should be taken away from the citizens. People that think we should have arms taken away from our military. There's so many different ones that go around this, that guns should be here, that we shouldn't have guns. There's both sides of it. And today I want to talk about our beliefs, our standpoints as Christians. What does that really mean? What does that really mean? Should we have guns? Why should we have guns? Let's just dig into it. Let's have some fun. All right. First question here on gun control is, should everyone possess a gun?
Well, um, me personally, I'm just going to say out flat out no. Um, I'm not saying this because I don't think people should have guns, but I do, in the light of how human beings are made and how human beings are because of the fall of sin, everybody is not going to have a good intent with a gun. I do believe some people should have guns. I do believe people who have right intentions of using this kind of a tool who, as a defensive measure, should have a gun. But if everybody had a gun, the world would fall into havoc. If you put it into like Bible times, if everybody had a sword, if everybody had a sword and everybody had a bow, the whole entire world would be completely covered in war. Not because that every single person's bad, but because those who have bad intentions are going to use that sword for ill will. There are people out there who want to use guns for ill will, but don't have them. And I do believe that's a good thing because that person had a gun, then that's going to wreak havoc about others. But I do believe those who have good intents should have guns because there are people out there that have ill intent. And that um and having a gun in your possession, having that kind of tool can be used as a defensive measure against someone who has it. Because you if you have the right intentions, you're not going to use a gun for ill will. You're not going to go and try to kill someone with it. But you're going to use that tool as a defensive measure that could be used um as sort of like an opposing force to someone using that tool as an ill will.
Yeah, I agree with that. And again, what my opinion on this is no, everyone should not possess a gun, but it piggybacks onto our next question, which says, should every citizen of the United States of America have the ability to possess a gun? This is I didn't really say this in our last podcast episode, but it's really a fine line. Here's why. I think the majority of people in the United States should have the opportunity. Legal citizens of the United States should have the opportunity. They're in prison. No, I really don't think they should have a gun. But there's several things that go around that of why. Because they are already seen to have ill intention. There's people in the United States that are illegally here, and those people I don't think should have a gun. But here's the fact. If those people really want a gun in our country, here's the fact: they're going to get their hands on a gun. So should we take it away from everybody? No, because again, piggybacking off of Eli's question or Eli's statement is that we can use guns to protect ourselves. That tool we can protect ourselves with.
Yeah. One thing also of that is I I do kind of like the fact that no, I don't think absolutely everybody in the United States should have that ability, but I don't think that ability should be taken away unless there is a reason to it. Unless you have entered, if you're in this country and you really are a true citizen, I'm kind of leaving now illegal immigrants out of here because they're not true citizens of the United States. They're illegally in here. Um, you should have the opportunity to be able to get a gun. You have that privilege when you become a citizen of the United States, and that privilege you should keep until it's taken away. So if you use that gun for ill intent, if you use that gun to inflict violence and you are put into jail for that and get out of jail, I do not believe you should have that. You should have that responsibility, not that responsibility, that privilege anymore. I don't think if you have misused or have a reason why someone would think you would misuse that kind of a tool, I don't think you should have that privilege anymore.
Right.
But I do believe every citizen should be in the beginning before you would do anything that's ill or have the opportunity to. You should have that privilege. You should have that right or not right that privilege to be able um, to display your trustworthiness and have the ability to have that tool to be able to use for defensive measures, because I do believe that is a very good, um, an effective tool for that, aside from also being able to use it for benefactors such as like hunting or shooting sports. So for like um, enjoyment or for providing for your family.
Right. I don't necessarily disagree that all people that have had a bad background, that have, so say, switched their life around, gotten out of jail, shouldn't ever touch a gun again. But the point of carrying it, concealed carrying it, carrying them on every day, here's the thing: they have proven that they can or will use guns unwisely. And I'm not saying that person won't change, but I think it's okay to introduce the guns back into it in a controlled environment, like on a range, because guns are a lot of fun, and it builds a relationship and a trust. I think in a safe environment with a family, it is a thing. You give that child an adult responsibility. That a gun is a very adultish thing, and giving them that, or uh, doing it safely and having them shoot it, says, "Oh, you're trusting me to be responsible." And so that leads into so many more topics of this world of how, oh, if you treat your children like children, they're going to act like children. If you treat them like adults, chances are they're going to act like adults.
Yeah, I really do like that. Thinking back that, yeah, on top of just being able to you having the privilege of having a gun, I do believe it's also a good thing to have that gun, but also to slowly teach your children how to responsibly use that. If you have a gun and you misuse that around them, if you use that and you're messing around or just shooting irresponsibly in your backyard or something like that, that's forging that kind of a picture into the younger mind. You're going to create a generation of people who are um, not going to be responsible with that and are going to have that privilege taken away and could cause um, a lot of ill intent towards other people and can cause people to be um, very like reserved around them to be like, oh, this person is being very irresponsible with this, and though it may not be their fault, and it could not be their fault because that's all that they're seeing from their
Right,
older person. If you have a gun, your own responsibility is that one, just using that gun as correctly and responsibly for protection of others around you, and in order to not harm others. I do believe it's also a responsibility of using that responsibly so that others that are seeing it and being influenced by it can also see that that's how a gun should be intended to use, and it's not turned into a weapon. It is kept a tool and a peacemaking um, object.
right. Take it seriously. A gun's not a joke to just play around with. It is okay to shoot in your backyard if it is safe, but if you're in the country, obviously
Yeah,
there's places that it's very illegal. But like us in the country, like we do that in a safe environment with our parents, very safe, very legal to
yeah,
the laws right now. And so take it seriously. Don't take it as a joke, but 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 let your kids know that, yeah, I'm actually gonna stop there because that is, it is a very, intriguing topic to talk about because there are so many different views on it, and it's a fine line of what's okay and what's not okay. And as a parent, I think that should be your decision and not the government's.
yeah,
I think you should be the person to decide and not the government's. They're your children, not the government's. You raise that child, you birth that child, not the government. So
yeah. I do.
raise them up, raise up the child in the way they should go.
Yeah, and I don't think, and I think William agrees on this, I don't think the government should have completely, like, no control over that because, again, there are
Agreed.
situations
Yeah.
to where you wouldn't want someone to have a gun. Again, if you have some sort of serial killer and person somehow gets out of jail or whatever legally, that person, the government's not gonna wanna give them a gun again. And I do believe that the government should have that kind of control to be able to take that privilege away from select people because they have proven themselves untrustworthy. But yeah, I don't believe the government should have the complete control and the say of saying, "Oh, there are this percent of people in the U.S. that have used guns for ill will, so we're going to just take them all away." I don't think that's right. I You're taking away responsible responsibility and privilege from people who did nothing wrong. That's like saying, um, if you're in school and one person has a pencil and they keep on flicking it at one person and hitting that person with that pencil, that they're going to say, "Oh, that's one person, and I have 10 people in my class. Now, 10% of people are throwing a pencil at people and using it as a weapon or using it for ill will. So I'm just going to take all pencils out of the school."
Hmm.
That doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. You're taking away that responsibility and privilege that is given to other people based off of a couple people's ill action. I do believe that everybody should still have that choice and the choice to be able to teach the next generation how to responsibly use a gun, but do still believe that the government should have the ability um, to alter that for certain select people, like that person who's throwing that pencil. They may no longer have that privilege to be able to just have a pencil whenever they want, but they're only given a pencil when they have to do schoolwork or they have to take a pop quiz or something like that in school. It's There should be able to have a form of limitation that the government can give, but they shouldn't have the ability or right to just take it all away. It doesn't make sense. It's unfair to other people.
Right. This whole podcast, we've been calling a gun a specific thing. Cool. And why? Why not call a gun a weapon? The media has glued this name weapon to the gun, saying it's very, very dangerous. Guns kill. Guns do not kill. I'm going to talk more in depth about this in just a second. Okay. Do we call a hammer a weapon?
No, we do not.
No, we call it a tool because it's used as a tool. But unfortunately, it's also used as a harmful tool where people are using it to kill people, hurt people. And it happens all the time, unfortunately, or in several scenarios. Same thing with a pencil. Like you said, they can be used wrongly, but everybody shouldn't be punished by that one person's wrong action or even multiple people's wrong action because they should have the responsibility. They should choose to do the right thing. God gave us the free will because He didn't want us to be robots. And that's the same thing our government could do to us if we don't stand up against this thing of gun control. We need to choose to have that right because it's a freedom that we were given and we should protect.
Yeah, and ultimately, I know this is a little bit off topic, but if you just take away the gun, to be brutally honest, if that person's already willing to go against the law, because obviously it is very much against the law, both God's law and the U.S. law, to murder someone, no
Hmm.
matter what degree it is, then why would that person just willingly give up their gun if you took it all away? If you took all the guns away, is that gang who killed 20 different people, is that gang really gonna give their guns up to the law, to the government? That doesn't make sense. It's still gonna go there. So what you're basically doing is taking away all the guns from the people who are still loyal to this country and loyal to this government, and giving the option to all those people who illegally are using those guns and giving them easier way to use it and to inflict their will on other people.
You're taking away the protection from the citizens, from the people that are actually using it for good or for protection. And here's the thing, even if it were to happen and they got the guns out of the hands of bad people, they will still do what they intended to do. If they intend to harm, they will still harm. They will grab a bat and harm somebody. But here's the thing, we're going to take away bats, they'll find a pencil and they'll harm somebody. Now we can't write. Here's the thing. We have chosen in society at this point to put protective measures in to train people how to use things properly, or you should if you have not, because everything can be used as a weapon. But the fact is, they're tools that can be used dangerously, or it can be used in a good way.
And
Yeah.
it's very important to do that. And it's not like they're we're in short ways of learning how to use a gun correctly. The people who use guns incorrectly are people who choose not to not use the resources that we have out there to actually learn how to use a gun correctly or learn from other people who have guns. Like in every single state, I know outside of the country this isn't a thing, but every single state in the US has this really cool thing called 4-H. And 4-H has a lot of shooting sports in it. 4-H is a great implement to be able to teach you how to use guns responsibly. That's their whole goal is in every single book, first page, literally the first page of every single one of those shooting sports books is about how to correctly use a gun. It's it's not like the US isn't teaching people how to use it responsibly.
You're
It's
choosing not to
just
learn it. Yeah.
yeah, it's people who are choosing not to learn it. And also going on to what William said, if you just take all the guns away, that's not gonna fix absolutely anything. Even if you could get it out of the people's the bad people's hands, they're just gonna use something else that's you're not eliminating the problem. The gun is not the weapon. Ultimately, in my opinion, that's incorrectly labeled. A tool, an object, cannot be a weapon in any way, shape, or form. It is the person who holds it that is the weapon. It's the person who holds it that becomes the weapon, the harmful force of evil that is inflicting their will onto a tool to create ill actions. The gun itself wasn't actually created for any sort of warfare. It was actually originally created for hunting purposes. And then people used it for an implement of war. They used it for an implement of bad will. The any tool could be a weapon, or any tool could be used as a weapon or as an affliction of ill will. I could use a screwdriver, I could use a hammer, I could use a stick. It doesn't matter. Everything is technically could be used as a weapon, which means should we just take everything out of the country and I'll put everybody in a solitary confinement where there's absolutely nothing? That's the only way to get rid of technically every single weapon. It's just because this specific name has been glued onto a tool that seems like it's dangerous, where literally anything in the world could do the exact same purpose as that is. It's not the gun itself, it's not the tool, it's not the object, it's the person who's the true weapon.
Yeah. Here's the thing to citizens and why I think you should take action on this topic. Everyone has this dangerous curiosity. It's about everything. Sometimes you have to touch the pan to realize that it's hot. You have to touch the stove and burn your finger. Because before then, you didn't really know it's hot. So killing that dangerous curiosity, not necessarily killing, but showing them with this idea of shooting sports is it takes that danger of the curiosity away, and now they understand what it is, and they don't need to dig deeper into that. But they can and safely do it because they've touched the hot pan now and they know it's hot. So that's what I challenge you as parents. Take that curiosity away because I guarantee your children, or even you as an adult, have dangerous curiosities. Maybe it's not necessarily guns, but if it is, guns. Oh, what do they do? I really want to know. I really want to find out. And then that's when someone ends up being accidentally killed. Somebody ends up being accidentally hurt by a gun because they don't know how to properly use it. So by teaching them, we take the curiosity away because they've already used it at this point. They know how to use it, and you've given them the ability to defend themselves in other ways, teaching them, giving them a program like martial arts and teaching them how to defend themselves with a simple pen or a pencil, or how to defend themselves and how to do it responsibly. No, you're not trying to teach your children to be the bully, but you're trying to teach them how to defend and protect other people from being bullies and to protect the other people that are being bullied. Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's been a lot of talking about it recently, but it is important to take that dangerous curiosity away so that um, people can grow and realize how to use things and do things responsibly.
Yes, and one thing that through some conversations with some friends of mine that I have solely believe that this is a correct way of teaching someone of um, some of a topic that's potentially dangerous is when you do something like 4-H, when you get rules, you get a list of rules. We have a whole entire page. I don't remember the exact number of them, but it's all the rules of the range. It's all the dangerous things, all the different rules that evade certain dangerous things. When you teach someone, if you're teaching your kid or even some sort of peer, if you're teaching them, uh, always point the gun downrange. Don't. ever point the gun at someone, um, even if it's not loaded or anything like that, don't tell them to just not do it. Tell them
Right.
why. If you just tell them not to do it, it's gonna seem just like you're making up a rule at that point. You're not giving them a reason why they don't have any sight a, of some sort of consequence. They just think, "Oh, it's just your rule, so once I'm out from under you, as soon as I'm out on my own, I don't have to follow those rules anymore."
And it builds up the more of the dangerous curiosity.
Yeah.
And it always annoyed me as a kid. And here's the fact: sometimes you just gotta listen. But when parents are like, "Do this," I'm not giving you a reason why. And sometimes, and actually, majority of the time, if not all of the time, they're doing it to help you, and it actually is important, and it's something that doesn't necessarily need explained. But in this scenario, we have the opportunity to explain why. So why not do it? Explain why. Say, hey, you should be keeping your gun only pointed downrange or up in the air in a safe direction because somebody can be really hurt by it. And by that, they go, oh, wait, there's actually a punishment to doing wrong or doing what you're saying is wrong. And it's not just your decision, your belief on this because there's no matter of it.
Yeah, I really do like that. Yeah. I just think that that's something that's slowly slipped out of society, even with just normal things of what's right or wrong, and I'm not necessarily gonna go into that because I'm not gonna judge anybody on their parenting. But I do think that that's something that slipped out of society is a lot of people, a lot of parents specifically, will say just to do something and will say, "This is what's right, this is what's wrong, don't do it." I do believe when we start doing that, you're just creating rules that someone's gonna see as, "I only have to follow these if I'm under you. These are your rules. It's not anything that's really accomplishing anything, it's just what you want, it's just your will." But once you start implementing the consequences, it no longer becomes your will, but it becomes the will. It becomes the law.
Hmm.
Once you start saying, oh, you need to put on eye protection because hot brass can shoot up into your face and burn your eyes. Or you need to always make sure that your gun's pointing down range because if there's a misfire, it could go and hit someone, and that person could be seriously hurt. Once they start seeing that, they're no longer seeing it just because it's a law that you've created. It's actually creating a consequence and creating logic in your mind of, "Oh, this isn't really your law. This is ultimately just to prevent bad situations, preventing harming me or preventing harming anybody else. When I don't do this, I'm no longer if I do this, I'm gonna get ill, uh, ill results. I'm gonna get bad results that both are gonna affect me and the people around me." Instead of just thinking, "Oh, if I don't do this, I'm just gonna get in trouble with my mom or dad. I'm just gonna get grounded." It's a different kind of light. That's what I put.
Yeah. So I talked a little bit about this, but I want to go a little bit more in depth here. How I said the media glues this name to a gun, guns kill. But here's the thing guns do not kill. And why? Why am I saying that guns don't kill? If you're playing baseball, kids playing baseball, whatever, maybe you're that kid and you're playing baseball. You hit home runs. Maybe not, maybe not. But does the kid playing baseball hit home runs or does the bat hit home runs? Do you give the round of applause to the bat, like, oh, you did a good job, bat? Or do you give a round of applause to the kid? Because that kid hit the home run and not the bat. So instead of giving the push against or the praise in this scenario to the gun for doing the bad things, blaming the person. So don't take away our guns, our screwdrivers, our hammers, our nails, our hatchets because they did the wrong. Because they didn't. Someone chose to use them wrong. And that's the fact of it. And you can't take away everything that something has happened wrongly with it, even if it was an accident.
Yeah, I really do like that, and I really like that perspective, and, if you kind of look into the logistics of any sort of object in this world, any sort of form of technology or tool or utility, it's everything's technically just a bunch of atoms put together until a human uses it for something. That bat that you might have hit a home run with, it's just a chunk of wood. It's literally just a piece of wood. It only turns into a baseball bat when you pick it up and you hit that baseball and you hit a home run with it. It doesn't become a baseball bat until you pick it up. The gun does not turn into a weapon until you pick up that piece of technology to use it for ill will. If that gun is just sitting on a table, it's just a hunk of metal. It is literally just a hunk of metal with screws and bolts and levers. But as soon as you pick it up and try to use it for ill intent, then that gun turns into a weapon. It's nothing nothing really can do anything without our will. The humans are like the missing piece to every single piece of technology or utility. It's not going to turn to something till you use it for that. My phone is a learning device. It is something that I can use to go search the internet, but I can also use that as a weapon. But it also depends on how I use it. I can pick up that phone and I can chuck it as hard as I can at somebody, and it turns into a weapon. It's no longer a learning device or a hunk of just technology or metal. It now turned into a weapon. But if I pick it up and search how to do 2 plus 2, it's now a learning device. Something only turns into the implement when you pick it up and choose how to use it.
Right? When you choose to use it wrong, then it becomes wrong. And it's a huge thing with a device today is people are choosing to use it wrong. There's many implications I can talk about that. We don't need to because think you get the perspective. The point is that anything can be used wrongly if you choose to use it wrongly. You need to build that fear factor in their head that something is going to happen wrong if you use it wrongly. Use it right. Use it right. Protect people by teaching them how to use it right, not just taking it away. All right. That concludes, I think, our podcast episode for today. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for your support to the channel so far. Again, as I say in pretty much every podcast episode, every video, please do subscribe. Please do hit that notifications bell. Please do like the video and share it to your friends because we would love to spread the knowledge of the truth, the correct, the right thing on our Christian perspective here to others. And no, we don't have everything figured out perfectly, but backed by the truth of the Bible, we want to share the best we can. If you have a argument, maybe you're a Christian, an atheist, whatever you are out there, I would very much encourage you to comment down below. Say like, "Hey, I don't agree with this because why?" I would love to dig in deeper with that. If you have another topic that you want to talk about, be like, "Hey, I'm a parent and I'm struggling with this thing." Comment down below. No, we're not parents, but we have parents and we have an amazing book that I hope you can get your hands on too called the Bible. And it is so helpful through the walk of life. It is the guide to life, the Bible is. And I encourage you to study that. I encourage you to share this video so that people can see our perspective on this and so that we can promote and build this Christian community so that more people can be touched by God's word and the truth.
Yeah. And just to clarify real quick, just so that no misleading actions or anything like that happens. When we tell you to like and subscribe or anything like that, we're not doing it because we want to be famous. Honestly, I could care less if everybody in the world knew what my face was. I do not care. The
I'm
goal,
ugly.
yeah. But the goal of liking and subscribing, I don't care if we have 100 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers or a million subscribers or whatever it is. But the more subscribers we have, the more likes, the more shares, or anything like that, it's going to make us more popular. Not that I really want the publicity for myself specifically, but it's giving more of a chance for other people to see these videos and more people who could not be Christians and could be lost and maybe looking for an answer or that missing piece in their life to see our video and to be able to see that and be brought to Christ. Because though I would love to save as many people as possible, even if this channel only saves one person, two people, three people, that's still three souls that wouldn't have been saved before. That we just saved because all of our fellow believers out there helped push this out to other people, helped be able to promote this so that showed up on their feed page. So just to put that out, just like and subscribe not because that we want the publicity or we want money or anything like that. Push it out so that it gives more of a chance for people who are lost can see this video and might be able to be brought to Christ.
We're trying to promote it for God and not for us. That's our that should be our goal in life, and I hope we continue to strive to do that goal because it is important to further God's kingdom and not our own selfish wants. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys on the next podcast episode. I hope to.
Yeah. See you
See ya.
guys later. God bless.